In this video, we're going to talk about grip and how it affects your golf swing. What does it do to the club face and what does it let you do with the golf club? So the grip is the only place we're going to touch the club itself, and it can have a major influence not only on the face angle but other factors of the golf swing. So first of all, I want you to think that there is a lot of different golf swings at the top level, PGA Tour players, and there's many different grips used, some strong, some weak, some strong with weak, very varied, okay? So this is a full swing grip, and this is how I would teach someone if they came for a lesson for the first time hands on a golf club. So we know there's lots of variations, so some of this might help you with your current grip, or it may be, oh, that is my grip. Maybe you can understand why you hit certain shots because of what happens to the golf club relative to your grip, okay? So let's go over a couple of things we see a lot of with grips. The first thing I see is a lot of people will take their hand almost perpendicular to the golf club like this. And when they curl their fingers, it gives a big long thumb. So it looks like I'm giving a thumbs up. When I put this hand on, I do the same. Now I have nowhere for my thumb to actually go, and it feels very uncomfortable. The arms get very tight just to be able to hold on to it. There's lots of gaps in the back of the grip here as well. So that's one thing to avoid. And that leads me right into where do we want to hold the grip, okay? So I want to place the grip so it runs through my fingers, starting from the end of this finger here where it starts to curl into the hand, and slightly diagonal towards a trigger finger here of the left hand. So if I actually curve that finger as if I'm making a trigger movement, I can place that diagonally through the fingers, okay? That allows me to take the fat meaty part of my hand here. I don't know the scientific name for it, but I'm sure there's a name, but this meaty bit here, I want that to sit right on top of my grip. So here we go. Shaft is up here and I'm keeping the club face 90 degrees up to the sky. We're going across the fingers and then I'm going to close my hand. And as I do that, I'm just pinching here to get my thumb to touch my hand. And you can see there that that keeps this nice and level. It doesn't have a long thumb like that. That's starting to create a bit of spacing because the hand is in this diagonal position. Okay. The other hand, we're going to do the same. We're going to match this. I'm going to slide down and I'm going to keep it in the fingers, and then the hand can now sit on top of the thumb. That would be neutral. So I have a glove here that I've made. Okay. I have drawn the lines on here. This is where my grip is going to sit. I'm going to sit it straight through those lines there, okay? So you can see it's diagonal across. So here you can see I've drawn the lines through the fingers diagonally so that the club can sit diagonally through the fingers. When I close my hand, I'm going to pinch here, which creates a V shape. I can see two knuckles on these green dots here. This V is going to be pointing somewhere between my ear and my shoulder, somewhere here. It's not an exact science, it's somewhere there. Over time, you're going to develop certain traits with your ball flight where you can figure out the best place for you to create your neutral grip. From there, I'm going to place this hand, and you'll see that I now cover that V a little bit, and that V here also points to my right shoulder. And that is what we would call a neutral grip. So if I was to swing the club and return, I would be back to this position. And what I like to do as a quick check is if I hold my club out in front of me and I just rotate my forearms, you see there's a fair amount of rotation in both directions. A little bit more going this way, and that's because I'm rolling the right over the left. So here's the V on my left hand pointing towards my right shoulder. I can see the two knuckles here and here. Now, let's talk about strong and weak. So weak means that I've turned my hands towards the target this way. So that would be counterclockwise if I'm looking at the grip. So now my V is at my left shoulder and my right hand is much more on top. So if you look here, I can now only turn it this way a little bit, but I can turn it that way a lot, okay? So if this is you in your swing, and I start from this position, you're going to see a lot of turn in the club, giving a very open face. So an open face can lead you into a lot of different swing faults, one of them being a slice. If I turn it this way, I cannot see the knuckles and the V moves to my left shoulder. This would be open or weak. Now, if we go the other way, I'm going to place my hands in a strong position. So now the left hand is on top, the right hand is more underneath. Now, I can't turn this way, but I can turn this way a lot. So as I go back, this backswing might give us a closed face. Closed faces typically could hook the ball. Obviously, there's lots of manipulations in a swing that could compensate for that. If we go on top with the left hand, now I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 knuckles, and the V points to the right of my body. This would be closed club face or strong grip. So let's come back to neutral. In the middle, I'm in the fingers. My V is at my right shoulder. The right hand matches the direction of the left hand, like so, and points towards my right shoulder as well. That's your neutral grip. And that's the same for baseball and if I interlock. I'm just changing the connection points. So, check your grip. Do you have a strong grip that can turn this way and not that way? Or do you have a weak grip that can turn that way but not that way? If you're just starting out at the game, I would recommend going somewhere in the middle here. It's the easiest way to play the game, okay? Now, there's one other thing we want to look at. There's 3 basic holds on the club. If I put my left hand on in my position, you'll notice I'm always doing it up here. It's much easier for me to make my grip up here. If I'm down here fiddling around, this club starts to slide out of the fingers and into the palm, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, in the fingers, I can now keep all 8 fingers in a row. That would be called my baseball grip. I could interlock my fingers, where the pinky and the index finger, they hook together. Or we could leave all of these on here and we could do an overlap grip. So now you'll see that the pinky just sits right in that groove between the index and the middle finger. That's my preferred choice. Tiger Woods interlocks, Ben Hogan overlap. There's different grips for different people, okay? You have to find what fits your hand, what's comfortable. If you have small hands, maybe not that strong in the wrist, baseball grip may be a great choice, okay? So, here's why we don't want to be in the palm, and I think this is really, really important. If I put it in the palm, you'll see how the shaft is in line with my arm, and I'm flexing just to be able to keep the weight of the club out in front of me. So as I swing back, this would affect my golf swing in the fact that I can't hinge my wrists correctly. You see? If I get it in the fingers where my line is, now I've got a lot more mobility of my wrists, which is going to help as we start to swing the club back. If I have it in the palm, it's very hard to swing the club upwards, and now I'm going to end up either lifting or I'm going to have a lot of turn and a low club position around here. Put the club down for a minute. So I think this is quite a good example. If I took a hammer and I'm going to knock it in the wall here, a nail in the wall, I would hold the hammer in this kind of position, and that would give me that little bit of leverage in the wrist to make this happen. If I go this way with that long thumb and in the palm, I can't use leverage, so I'd have to use my elbow, you see, to drive the hammer. We want into the fingers, and now I can use this to create my leverage. The nail would go in quite easily. If I go through the palm with a long thumb, I can't use my wrist correctly, so I have to start using my elbow to move the hammer. Okay? So if you bend your arm at the top of the golf swing, someone's told you that before, the chances are you're swinging back and you can't use leverage here, so you start to use leverage here. So I would definitely check your grip if you're the person with a bent left arm at the top of the backswing. So let's walk through this. I'm going to hold the club up in front, toe up, place it through the fingers. I'm going to close my hand so that the thumb is pretty level. There's no long thumb. I'm going to put this one in the fingers and it comes over the top. Both of my V's are to my right shoulder and I can see my 2 knuckles here. Okay, let's see how we do with this one. So I like to make my grip up here, set up to the ball. Nice straight golf shot. So, in review, choose your grip wisely, and if you are strong or weak, understand what effect that would have on your golf swing, okay? We want to get it in the fingers so that the sequence of your swing is correct, okay? If I'm in the palm like we talked about, the handle is going to get lifted and the elbow may bend. If we get it in the fingers, we can get this nice kind of loaded position here, which keeps this arm straight. So your grip may fix your golf swing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Got lots more content out there for you to look at. Hit that little bell icon over there in the side of the screen as well, so you know when I've uploaded something new. Thanks for joining me here, and I hope this was good help with you with your grip and helping your golf.